decisions, and events shaping our nation and give them the human face that they deserve. I am Moise Steven.
And I am Paul Oblomugbasa.
And as always, I'm delighted to have you tuning. Today, we'll turn our attention to an issue that touches the very foundation of our society education. Recently, the federal government of Nigeria announced the introduction of a new curriculum across basic, secondary, senior secondary, and technical education levels. This development has generated significant discussion in academic circles among parents, policymakers, and of course, students themselves. Now, we all know that curriculum is more than just what is taught in classrooms. It is the roadmap for building the minds of the next generation. It determines what skills children acquire, how they think, and how prepared they are to compete in an ever changing global environment. So, when a government decides to introduce a new curriculum, the implications are far reaching. Questions immediately arise. What informed the changes in the curriculum? Do the new subjects or methods reflect the realities of today's Nigeria? Our economy, technology, cultural values, and global competitiveness? Are these changes designed to equip young Nigerians with practical skills for the 21st century, or are they simply cosmetic adjustments?
So, most importantly, will teachers and schools be given the training and resources to deliver this new curriculum effectively? Or will it be another policy that looks good on paper but struggles in practice? At the heart of this conversation lies the future of Nigerian children and, by extension, the future of Nigeria itself. We live in a world where innovation, critical thinking, and technical skills drive progress as seen everywhere around the world. If our curriculum fails to prepare students for these realities, we risk producing generations that are ill prepared to tackle the nation's challenges or to compete globally. On the other hand, if designed and implemented correctly, the new curriculum could be a game changer, of course, ushering in a new wave of educational relevance and productivity across the nation.
And to help us unpack this important issue, we are honored to have with us today Chinwe K. Vitus Ona, a seasoned educationist and a school principal, an advocate for curriculum reform and all this. With his deep understanding of Nigeria's education system and years of practical engagement, he will guide us in assessing whether the federal government's move is timely, necessary, and sustainable. Thanks for joining us today on the show.
Thank you and good morning, all.
As always, we all right, Mr. Ona, we've given a little background to what the federal government's trying to do, but could you briefly explain what the federal government's new curriculum entails, and particularly at the basic, senior secondary, and technical levels?
Okay, good morning, Doc. Actually, I'm glad to be here this morning again on a discussion that concerns Nigerians' education uh, institutions and the future of our generation. Okay, as a curriculum is actually a roadmap that gives a guide to learning activities in educational institutions. And of course, a curriculum is designed to meet the nation's goal, long-term goal, you know. And looking at what we have today, the announcement that was made this just few days back, I can say that the federal government actually having the thought to review Nigeria curriculum of education at basic level is a worthwhile responsibility, because the last review was in 2014, and you can be sure that from 2014 till now there has been advances in science and engineering, humanities and social sciences. In short, culture has changed worldwide, and it is very important that we adjust as quickly as possible to meet up with the global best practices in every aspect of our life. Whether we like it or not, is we are no longer in a world where somebody say, I am a Nigeria, and because of that, I'm not going to imbibe the culture that come from Africa, other part of the world, like China and all that, because we have the same basic needs, whether we like it or not, and the culture is meant to meet our needs. So whatever we inherited in the past must be such that it should be adjusted to suit the present and of course make projection to the future. So currently, with what the federal government has actually given out as what should be the guide to teaching and learning in a Nigerian primary and secondary school education, I think they have done a good job so far. Thank you.
Okay, with it, there's a lot of things because some persons just thought we went through the issues. We're proud to this change. We saw some children and even some parents who complain about overburdening of the subjects. That some of the subjects are not even relevant outward. Now, you being in the educational sector, you are seeing this. How do you think this would really help the children now going forward as they received it?
It's okay. I've looked at the subject structures. I've not really had in-depth analysis of the modules and then how it's going to be done in the classrooms and all that. But with what I have now, all right, if government provides an enabling environment, which has to do with both infrastructure and manpower, teachers have to be retrained. Yes. And we intentionally implement this curriculum is going to help Nigerian child. Every Nigerian child that passed through this curriculum, well implemented, right, that child will be very proud of the government and be very proud of this nation. And the child is going to compete favorably with any other child in the world. Reason being that there is an adjustment that has been made to reflect the real need of modern society, And if you look at the basic level, there's introduction of trade subjects and technology. There is also an emphasis on farming too. Let me speak on farming first before we talk about technology, because currently one of the basic needs that the world is going to face in future is food and housing. Okay. And if you look at what is coming from developed world to this part of the world, you can be sure that they are trying to maximize what profit. And they are trying to re-engineer food and livestock in order to increase productivity. And sometimes they are not actually healthy to what we need. But if you look at Africa and Nigeria in particular, we have so many arable land lying fallow, not being used for anything. Like in Bayelsa per se, we can actually rear any kind of livestock here because we have all year round evergreen grasses. So issue of producing livestock feed will not be a problem in Bayelsa. Let me use Bayelsa as a case study. And then for that reason, if we really know that there is food crisis in the nation, then federal and state government should be able to provide an enabling environment and make it compulsory that issue of agricultural science, as is enumerated in this new curriculum, right? The teaching or pre-vocational studies, as is enumerated in this new curriculum, should be a center stage that everybody must pay attention. It shouldn't be like putting this one aside, right? And now that brings us to ensuring that we become very original in our own research in biotechnology. Since we are doubting what is being pushed here, then what are we going to do? So we need to have a critical manpower that will be able to meet our own research needs in this area. And this is the beginning of it, So this curriculum, which has also included projects, even in secondary school, giving the children ability to do research extensively, that alone will be able to help us to know the truth about the world.
Especially when you talk about these GMOs, the genetically modified products.
So for us as Nigerians, we are not supposed to have any worry about that because our lands are very fertile. We don't even need fertilizer in Bayelsa per se. I will mention it here. When Silver was here, there was a time they brought so many people for a workshop in Gibrokara Cultural Center. One of them is the former Botswana president, Festus Mogai, And also I listened to Atin Suka, Israeli High Commissioner to Nigeria. And he talked about that in Niger Delta we can have all year round farming. And for that reason, that Niger Delta can feed the whole of West Africa. Yes, that man said it. Then I have not even come here. I've not even come in Bayelsa. But having come here, I've seen what he saw that time. Because it is here I see that people can plant without fertilizer. and there will be high yield. In our side, we spent hundreds of thousands of what? Naira to plant gardens. Hundreds of thousands of naira to buy manure, hundreds of thousands of naira to buy water. But here, these things are free. Both manure and water is what? Free. So we need this kind of curriculum. But my challenge will be the implementation.
And
Yes.
the availability of enabling environment.
Which has to do with infrastructure and manpower. Once government is serious about this, there shouldn't be discrimination. Whether these teachers are public school teachers or private school teachers, because we are all teaching Nigerian children. And whoever that comes up with innovation that can solve our needs, we cannot discriminate whether the person is coming from public or private schools. And two, now I'm moving away from farming. All right, let's now go to where people would want to hear about the issue of technology, innovation that they brought here, digital skills. Of course, we can no longer do without it. But with this new curriculum, schools are now under pressure to spend not less than 30 to 50 million to equip their ICT, to have a good ICT infrastructure that will be able to implement this curriculum effectively. So it is now capital intensive, very, very capital intensive. And so it requires government intervention in this matter, both at state and federal level. They should intervene to ensure that there are infrastructures that will enable people, even the teachers, to implement this curriculum.
So it's not just about rolling out the curriculum.
No. Like we are not ready. I can tell you, yes, we are not ready. Because before you tell us that this curriculum will start by
September this year.
It means that you must have trained teachers that will implement this. There should have been retraining of teachers. Also, you must have been able to ensure that there are infrastructure. The only state that was like planning for this thing before now was Enugu State, because I know they started this kind of review of their own basic education curriculum last year that made them to embark on building of about 260 smart schools. At least in my ward, you can see one there. In my time, we have 2 political wars. So 2 smart schools are being built there.
Okay, sorry, just say something about the smart schools, because I'm just thinking. When you came the other time, we talked about NECO Abiwaye going very soon to CBT. But if all these things are not available, will it be possible?
Implementation becomes a problem.
So the smart school, how does it run?
So that is where I'm coming now. Like you mentioned about NECO and WAEC. You see, one thing we must ensure is that no child should be disadvantaged. Because the issue of pushing this responsibility back to parents shouldn't be there. Not many parents can afford ICT gadgets, and the way it is now, if they say it must start now, it means we are pushing the responsibility back to parents. Because if a child does not have gadgets to facilitate learning or to practice at home, and the school the child is going does not have facility to train the child, then where will the child learn those things?
I mean, you're forcing the parents to go buy laptops or desktops, internet
services, and
not everybody can do that.
Not everybody can afford that. And now we are talking about AI and robotics, all right? At least as a school, Bellary schools, we have been having experience of this. It's right from 2013. We are among the pioneer schools that Shell and NNPC and other oil companies trained our students in 2013. They camped some students in Lagos for 6 weeks. They now selected facilitators from MIT and various renowned institutions in the world to come and train them in robotics. That time our school came first. Senator Agadaga's son, Alex Agadaga. He was among the pioneer students that we are trained here. So in 2014, we ensure that these children are catered for. Otherwise, we can now say, if we don't have money for all the students or all the pupils, then can we take from upper primary, maybe from primary 5 and 6, ensuring that, since we know that every child will get to that stage. Do you understand? Yeah. Can we take from SS1 to SS3? So if government does not have enough resources, they must think in this direction on how to ensure that before you finish your program, you must have been well grounded. And I plead with the government, no child should be disadvantaged because of his background.
Before we talk about when the government will be ready, let us, for the benefit of our listeners, let me just quickly run down how the curriculum is structured. Primary 1 to 3 will cover 9 to 10 subjects against 23 to 24 before. Now, while those in primary 4 to 6 will take 10 to 12 subjects against the previous 20 subjects. Wow. For junior secondary 1 to 3, it is now 12 to 14 subjects against the previous 17 subjects, while senior secondary subjects reduces from 12 to 15 against subjects to 9 and 11. So before it was like the maximum is 15 subjects, but now the maximum will be 11 subjects. But according to the Nigeria Educational Research and Development Council, NETSI, the subjects for primary 1 to 3 pupils are as follows: English language, mathematics, Nigerian languages. So one Nigerian language. So in Bielsa, we were supposed to introduce one his own language. I mean, in his own language. Yeah. Basic Nigerian language. Okay. Yeah. Basic science, physical and health education, religious, Christian religious studies, CRS for Christian peoples, and Islamic studies for Muslim peoples only. Nigerian history, social and citizenship studies, cultural and creative arts, and Arabic language, which is optional. For primary 4 to 6, the subjects are English language, mathematics, Nigerian languages, basic science and technology, physical and health education, basic digital literacy, as you rightly mentioned there, CRS, of course, for Christian students and Muslim peoples, Islamic studies, Nigerian history and social and citizenship studies, cultural and creative arts, pre-vocational studies, French language, which these are optional, and Arabic language optional. For the junior secondary 1 to 3 subjects are English language, English studies, mathematics, Nigerian languages, intermediate science, physical and health education, digital technologies, and of course the rest of them that I mentioned earlier, business studies, French, and all of that. Then and of course for the final the composite subjects, they are looking at the compulsory subjects for senior secondary: English language, general mathematics, one trade subject, citizenship and heritage studies, and digital technologies. For students in the sciences, they will take biology, chemistry, physics, agriculture, further mathematics, physical education, health education, food and nutrition, geography, and technical. Quite interesting. Your response to all of this.
Yes. Okay. Looking at it now, they are trying to reduce the content overload, information overload on the part of the children, right? But when you look at the subject, though they have been reduced in number, perhaps at the senior secondary level, that may be where there could be a good advantage, right? Because even at that level, children always have options of subjects to do, right? But if you look at digital technology per se, you see that the content has been expanded, unlike the kind of computer studies that they were doing before. So you can now see that where there is a reduction in subjects, in some subject areas, there is expansion of content requirements, And so in that case now, it requires also that the child and of course, schools have to do more to ensure that there's coverage, But at this point, we'll be waiting, as schools will be waiting for state government to streamline these things, because it should not just be allowed to a school, to implement this curriculum at her own discretion, right? Mm-hmm. From there now, we are going to see the weekly modus for this. So what you have there, yes, there is a reduction in number of subjects that children are going to do. But in some subject areas, there is expansion of content requirements, right? And with this now, children are going to have more time, to study at their chosen subject areas, and that is very, very important. For some of us who have implemented IGCSE, if you are teaching that maybe only 4 subjects, only 4 subjects, mathematics, basic science, and then maybe language. But in this basic science you are going to teach, in science, like science, they just call it science. Science is broken down into physics, biology, chemistry. Do you understand? So in implementing that science in IGCSE, you don't use one teacher. You cannot use one teacher to cover the scheme, because a teacher may be good in physics and not good in what? In chemistry. So this is exactly what they are aiming at in Nigerian education system. And in reducing the number of subjects, it even gives the children a sign of what? Relief. Because the psychology of learning that I'm not doing 20 subjects, it will help them. Even when there is increase in content development there, they will be ready to absorb it. But whereas a situation whereby a child is learning up to 18 subjects is not good. When you want to prepare the timetable, you now see that it becomes very difficult to finish lessons early in the day, because you are trying to cover, ensure that every subject gets what? The required number of periods for coverage,
Yeah.
But with this in preparing school timetable, and then it is possible to close school earlier so that children can get home and relax.
Before they do the assignments, homework, and
You
all of that.
understand? Yes, a child should be able to get home early. It is not good that a child will be returning home at 5 p.m. It's not good. When will that child have time to eat, have time to rest before doing assignment? But with this now, at least we should be able to restructure the timetable so that teaching and learning ends early in the day, in the afternoon, okay? The children can return home and then refresh, and they will have enough time to do the assignment that will be given to them.
Okay, let's start. While we're saying all of these different things, I want to come from the angle of the funding of this whole stuff, because we've seen that so far there's been a decline. The budget allocated to education, as at 2015, used to be 20.25%. It had dropped until this year's budget was 7%. Knowing that in the world, the approved, the one that is being approved and looked at, is at least 15% of the country's budget should be aligned to education. Yes. With these things now, the area of funding, do you also see that can we really achieve a lot of things, knowing that we have 7% of the budget for funding for education? Can we achieve these things if only we increase that percentage? And what can people like you in the educational sector, what voice can you lend to it?
It's okay. It's boiled down to issue of government responsibility. We are almost at the last quarter of the year, and I think this September should be the last month of anything that has to do with supplementary budget that will come from either state or federal government. Now it is a national emergency, and they called for it. Okay, as of today, the funding is not enough. Like I told you, WAEC is requesting that any school that wants to be a center for CBT should have at least 250 computer systems. That is not power. That is not the issue of furniture, right? That has nothing to do with the networking that should be done there. And for a school that does not have a standing hall, right? They need to build a new hall. Mm-hmm. Are you listening now?
Yeah.
So you see that the pressure is within the vicinity with the current cost of things now. A school may be required 100 million to meet this demand.
How would the private sector people meet this?
You understand?
Because it's going to be a bit challenging to save from governments as well.
Yes, that's what I'm saying now. Like now, most private schools are just some of them are not even breaking even, because some of them don't even have the sufficient number of pupils and students that can give them the money to cater for the personnel cost. How much more making profit, and with the increase in minimum wage, now you are now forced to increase the school fees, isn't it? Yeah. And the increase in school fees are where the financial ability of parents are getting down because of inflation. So they are withdrawing. You see, they are in dilemma. There is a very big challenge, So in the issue of funding, government being a government, they can do it. But for the private individuals, it is a challenge to them, because they will be forced to go and borrow if they must remain in business.
If they must implement this new curriculum.
Yes, they must borrow.
Wow.
There are no two ways about it. They must borrow.
Even in government, because if it's 7%, if it's not enough, which is the standard 15%,
Yes.
I mean, they have to borrow.
Yeah, so that's why I'm now saying that the government now, having called for national emergency on this, then they should go and begin to discuss on supplementary budget. Should be on this to implement this particular program. It shouldn't be to buy car or to do any other thing. It should be for this, whether at federal or state level. Even for the federal, even the issue of renovation of this and that, they should forget about them. And this is a conditional cash transfer they are doing to people, to 2 million Nigerian households. It's not needed. At this point, it's not needed.
Well, would they listen?
They have to. They are their children. They are the future. That is Nigeria we are talking about. If we are talking of Nigeria, it is these children. So there is no that Nigeria. We are talking about Nigeria. And so if we say they say they love the country, they must try to do something that there should be sustainability in our policy.
Because so many people have argued that conditional transfer, I think, is not making any difference.
It is a waste of resources. Okay, some people have gotten. Are they not hungry now? Some people got as much as 75,000. Some people, are they not hungry? They're already hungry. And if you look at how much that is spent per quarter, it's just like the mistake that Buhari regime did in 2020 and 2021, when we spent over 1.something trillion in school feeding. As at that time, our exchange rate was 400 and something naira per dollar. And so spending 400 and something billion every 3 months is like spending $1 billion. $1 billion is more than what the Hyundai used to establish a car assembly plant in India. Meaning that we have squandered more than 4 or 5 car assembly plants in Nigeria in school feeding.
Wow.
But now everybody is hungry again. That's what it means. And now we go to church and be praying to get visa to travel to India. Is that what we are created for? That's an abomination. And it's an abnormality even in our Christendom.
Absolutely. I agree.
Now we squander money that is needed to provide job for us here and transfer of technology. Because if you are to bring Hyundai here, you can even say, okay, we'll provide power. That money spent will be able to build gas turbine for them. And we have gas. I will supply them gas. Gas turbine can last for a very long time. It's very robust. So with $1 billion, we can actually build one gas turbine. And now we can tell them that your counterpart funding is to provide power for you. They will come, isn't it?
Yes.
They will come.
But all of that was spent on
School
feeding
without data.
for the job market
Yes.
and entrepreneurship
Yes.
to meet even global opportunities.
Yes. You know why? We are no longer living in a time we say imagination. Every imagination can be touched now. Yes.
So without even going to the
With
university,
ICT, with the knowledge of digital skill,
Yeah.
even laughter can be animated.
So you don't even need to go to the university from basically with this curriculum now. At the secondary level, you can even be self-employed
In Germany, you choose to proceed
to university or not.
after your high school education. You know why? You choose a career and you now become an apprentice in that company. If, for instance, you want to be a mechanical engineer and all that, you may be attached to Mercedes, the company that produces Mercedes, right?
Yeah.
And while you are there, they are paying you. I was in a conference. You know, you talk about the per capita income. The world has moved out of it. That's what we call per cement consumption. You know? And in that conference, they say that if somebody works in Germany for 2 weeks, it covers the annual earning of somebody in Congo. The number of cement, that was in 2014. You can imagine what it will be now.
Now.
That time now, that somebody works in Germany for 2 weeks, how much the person will earn in 2 weeks is equivalent to what somebody will work in Congo for 1 year. The number of cement you can buy.
Even more than what the professor earns.
Are you listening now?
Yeah.
That is to say that the quality of life in Germany in 2 weeks covers all your struggles. So if somebody has lived for 1 year in Germany, it's like somebody who has lived in this place for how many years? So to achieve. So if you look at that now, you can be sure that we need this thing. Everybody must not proceed to university. You know, that shouldn't be so. It should be at your choice.
But not everybody wants to have a PhD.
Because, you know why? because you need this certificate to be recruited in civil service, and the very few jobs available.
Over dependence on
Yes.
certification. Yeah.
And then another thing that will make this policy to be functional is if we go into establishment of industries. Because where there are no industries, education is a waste.
So after all this digital knowledge, no
Education
industries,
is a waste.
no way.
You can't actually commercialize your idea without industry. And once there's no commercialization of idea, motivation will die. You know why comedians do well after their first outing? Because of the money they get from it. So that is the motivation to meditate over and over again. And before you know it, they'll be saying this without thinking. So also it is, without industries, going to school will be a burden on people.
Rather than mere motivation to go there.
Yes, it will be a burden. Else we'll just be preparing these children for European market and American market. And that is another slavery.
Another slavery, you say. Well, let's open the phone line. You've spoken so brilliantly. I guess the listeners are so motivated and inspired to add one or two words to what we're discussing. We are assessing, we are assessing the new curriculum introduced by the federal government. Yes, assessed federal government of Nigeria's introduction of new curriculum in basic, senior, secondary, technical education levels. And we've had a principal, he has a school principal, an educationist, Mr. Victus Ona, clarifying and explaining all of this. Quite interesting conversation. You want to be part of it? Why not? Call us up right now, 0707 747 1522. 0912-000-1975, or head on to Facebook right now, 97.5 Golding FM. We're live, streaming live right there. Drop your comments, your questions there, and be part of the conversation. Let's get the first call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I still remain from America.
Thanks for joining us, bro.
Yeah, I greet our resource person in the house.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so brilliant submissions this morning.
Thank you, sir.
I listen to you keenly. Yeah. I have one question for you, sir.
Okay, sir.
What are your stance concerning this textbooks issue we are having, the assignments on textbooks? What are your stance? That is on one side. Keep that on your question list. And secondly, the curriculum we are running in this part of the world is not encouraging. Just like you duly explained, you see, the curriculum we are running here is not preparing our children for the future. If you allow me to put it that way. We over jam-pack the system that the children are not focused. Take, for instance, the China. That's why we say, this phone where children for secondary school, they produce stuff now. Because those children, they were galvanized, they were kept at the right track, even from primary. They know what they want to become, even at the end of secondary. That's why in secondary school in China, they can produce telephones and other accessories. That is the kind of system we are supposed to be running here. That is why the children, we are not getting well. The system here is so tough. That is why when we go overseas, we see us coming out with first class. Because the system there is so simple. That is why the young thing looks. And secondly, this conditional cash transfer, I don't think it's necessary. It's waste of resources as far as I'm concerned. If we do things right in this country, I think we don't even need prayer points. Thank you this morning. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for your your inputs this morning. Let's start from the very last. Let's take more calls. Let's take more questions. Perhaps you're going to just keep writing them down, please.
Yes,
Write them
sir.
down. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning
Morning.
to all of you.
Good morning.
Good
My
morning.
name is Aibanoa Ambakidemo. I'm calling from Unupa community. It's interesting. Let me go down memory lane. Last year, I attended an international conference of educators from several universities in Nigeria. And some people joined through Zoom. And after the conference, I made about 18 recommendations. Fortunately, some of those recommendations were accepted that they will be included in their communique. But the funny thing is that private researchers, inventors, discoverers, innovators like me, we are not supported financially and materially. Then let me keep that aside. People talk about information overload. In today's world, learners should be trained to become creative polymaths and polyglots. Creative polymaths who will also become entrepreneurs, who research, invent, discover, innovate. How to go about that is what we should also consider. One very important skill, in short, some skills like handwriting and speed writing, accelerated vocabulary expansion, reading, writing, speaking, listening skills, thinking skills, study skills. These are some skills that will enable a learner in primary schools to learn and master knowledge and skills in many fields and apply them to research, invent, discover, innovate. Not only in primary school, then secondary school, then even in the university. Then lastly, teachers. I think the government should provide questionnaires that will enable teachers to identify their deficiencies and strengths and take advantage of a lot of resources online to train themselves 247. There are free online courses, free online tutorials, free online resources. But lastly, I think we should be thinking of training majority of our primary, secondary, university learners to become creative thinkers, problem solvers, wealth creators, not just exam passers.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Exam passes.
Man, drop the bomb there. Okay, let's quickly respond to those small questions and all of that.
Okay, let me start from the first one, the issue of giving assignments on textbooks. I think it's not a proper thing because textbooks should be inherited. They are resource materials. So even if we don't want to use them, they should be kept in the library so that they can be used for as a reference book in future. But when it is mutilated, when you write in textbooks, giving it another person becomes what? A problem.
Yeah.
So I think such practice is not good, and it should be discouraged. It should be discouraged. It should be discouraged. Then on the issue of information overload, like we said, that is what they are trying to reduce, but not harming the students or the pupils, ensuring that they get the balanced knowledge and skill they need to thrive in a modern society. Like IGCSE, I told you, 4 subjects, isn't it?
Yes.
But after that process, you'll be sure that you have been trained. Because by even answering, the questions there are different. The way they ask questions is different from our own question patterns. Because they ask questions based on their economic need. If they're asking questions on motion, you are going to see that these are realities you see every day. And not just like an abstract something, So what we are saying now, that information overload with the current curriculum, right, is going to reduce that information. Like there are many things that we may not be over bothering our children with. Like in some places, they want even to introduce Chinese language. What for? In Nigeria. It's not necessary.
So the Chinese language is
it's
gradually
not necessary.
becoming...
Chinese, are they studying Igbo? Are they studying Yoruba? Are they studying Hausa? They are not. You know why? They believe that they don't need you. So you are studying their language because you need them and you want to serve them. That's why you are studying their language. It's because you want to be a servant.
So we need to grow above this.
Yes.
Our mentality.
Yes. Yes. We have to be sovereign in all our aspects of life. We have to be sovereign. And the only way to be sovereign is to ensure that our children are trained well. So that they can think on like the last speaker said, the new curriculum covers that. Even the old curriculum covers that too. But where we are having problem in this country is implementation.
Implementation.
You understand?
And that's what you've been saying all this while.
Yes, it is implementation.
How do we implement this?
Okay, look at this. Let me look at, like I was telling us before, now we are in an era where knowledge is increasing at the speed of light. All right?
Yeah.
And if we do not take a quantum jump, right, we'll be at a great disservice, we'll do a great disservice to ourselves. That's why the introduction of AI, all right, is an important issue. Now, this AI will enable you who studied arts, right? If you have basic knowledge in mathematics and basic knowledge in science, you can venture into any aspect of life. So the introduction of basic science and basic digital skill at the primary and the junior secondary level is an important knowledge skill that will close the gap between, like the man was telling, he said that a child should be versatile. That is what he's trying to say.
Yes.
That will enable them, right? Because now, if you are highly imaginative with the AI, you can even do better than somebody who is an engineer.
Wonderful.
Yes. But if now, like in a secondary level, senior secondary level, they are going to learn some computer languages like Python and CSS.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And JavaScript. All right? So if you have this basic knowledge, all right, even as somebody who has studied art, with the use of AI, you can write, AI can help you write a program.
That's
and
true.
because you have basic knowledge at secondary level, junior and primary level, you will be able to interpret it. And then if the outcome of the program is not what you need, that is where debugging comes in, right?
Yes.
And modeling comes in, because you can now go and change what should be changed.
Yeah.
Because you can now read and understand the program.
That's true.
All right? With that, productivity will increase. Those who want to be entrepreneurs, making research for what you want to do will not be a problem again. All right? So I think in a nutshell, what they have said is very, very correct. But where we are having issue is implementation.
Okay, so let's just hold it there. We will be going for a short break. When we return, we'll take more of your calls, and then we'll say goodbye to the program because it's been quite interesting. Let's go for the short break right now.
This is your golden moment. 97.5 Golden FM, the gold standard of radio.
Are you looking for a great car rental service in Yenagoa City of Bayelsa State? Experience the best with AB Mercantile. Premium cars for corporate ride, reliable rides for travels, economy option for daily drive. At AB Mercantile Limited, we offer a range of services. We pride ourselves as being the first resident car rental service provider in Bayelsa State. We offer daily rental services, event car rental services, pickups and drop-offs, escort security services, driver services, vehicle leasing, fleet management for businesses. Mark your calendar. AB Mercantile Limited is launching on Wednesday, 10 September 2025. Visit us at Grace Pearl Plaza, first floor, Opolo Market Road, Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. We are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Saturday. Book online at abmercantilelimited.com or call us at 070-749-7212 or email us at info@abmercantilelimited for more information. AB Mercantile Limited, your ride's destiny.
Shining brighter than ever. 97.5 FM, the gold standard of radio.
Yes, it's still Let's Talk Nigeria. We've come to the very last lap of the program where we will be, rounding off our thoughts on the assessment of the federal government's, federal government of Nigeria's introduction of new curriculum in basic, senior secondary, technical education levels. We will, open the phone lines for you to calling and make your contribution still before we conclude our thoughts. 0707 747 1522 0912 000 1975. Let's get this one now. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is James So from Pancha.
Okay, James. So please go ahead.
Yes, I greet your guest in the radio.
Good
station.
morning, sir.
Yeah, your guest has spoken well. But my contribution to this program is this. There is an adage which says that civilization started in Africa, particularly in Egypt. And today, it has proceeded to, through civilization, it has proceeded to Greek, from Greek to Rome, from Rome to Europe, and from Europe to America. And America is ruling the whole world today in terms of education. And we are, through studies, we are understanding that China want to take over. But in Nigeria here, we that are the giant of Africa, we are still lacking in education and technology. So my contribution is that for us to grow, as your guest has spoken, let federal government begin to pick people from each state, two person, and send them to America, which has the highest university in terms of quality, to study there and come back to Nigeria. This nation, because hello, I can start. We are changing curriculum, changing system, changing things, but we are still in the same place. But if we follow up our past glory, which Nigeria is the giant of Africa, and Africa is the first place where civilization started, we shall take it back. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. It's the training people, sending people abroad. Do you subscribe to that?
Knowing that some people, when they go, they run from there.
They just escape.
They escape from there.
Jackpot.
I think that is not necessary.
Okay. So why do you think so?
Yes, that's not necessary. It's just like Nigerian medical doctors. Why they are leaving is because of condition, environment. One, they don't have the tools to work with. Two, their pay is low.
Very low.
So if you think it is of quality of manpower, it is not true.
True, not true. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I greet everyone in the studio.
We greet you too. Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Jackson Amaibi. I'm calling from Akenpai.
Okay, Jackson, please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to commend the government for trying to readjust our school curriculum that has always been certificate-based, not practically oriented. But there is one thing that is a concern to me, and which is the attitude of our children towards education right now is really bad. You know, they always make decisions based on some of their awkward role models through music that says that education is a scam because it is no longer practical oriented, it is certificate oriented. So people roam about this country without any job. So they feel like doing other stuff gives them money. So education is no longer important to them. So you hear that many youth now are just depending their lives on this internet scamming. So now many of them does not have the orientation to be educated. So even though the curriculum has been changed, how would the government make education to be interested to these people? Like, let it be something that they want to do again, like it was in the olden time, where people want to be educated. Because these children are no longer concerned about education. Even the ones that are in university, they don't go to classes. All what they do is to suck. So what will the government do about that aspect? That is my number one question. And then the number two, the aspect of this AI. People are just talking about the advantage of AI. To me, the little I've come to find out that AI is basically supposed to be used by adults, not by little children that they don't even have the basic knowledge as human beings. Now they want to depend on artificial knowledge. Those that coded information into a system to educate people on what they cannot do. People that have basic knowledge as human beings through formal education. Those are the people that are supposed to use AI. Mature minds, not little children that don't even have basic knowledge on their own. Want to not depend on artificial knowledge. Is it not a concern to people? Everybody talking about AI, children should work on this and that. Who are the people that are supposed to use AI? That is my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think he has some point, but I don't know whether you disagree or you agree to some extent, but I think he makes some sense, especially on his last point. regarding AI and all of that, artificial intelligence. What do you think?
It's okay. I would just say is actually his concern is on application. What about development? It's going to be the new digital infrastructure, and you can't neglect that knowledge at basic level. You know, looking at the curriculum, Python is a computer programming language.
Yes, it is.
JavaScript. So whether you are talking about AI or that, it depends on the coding
Okay.
from those things. So if our children are armed with this knowledge, right, they can build their own.
Okay, let's just
They'll
hold it there.
solve our own.
Let's hold it there. This caller has been calling. I don't know. Let's give him a chance.
Hello.
A chance. Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
Can you make it in 60 seconds, please? We gotta go. Yes. Good morning.
Hello.
Your name,
Yeah, we
please.
can hear you.
Yeah, Collins from Obele.
Collins from Bella. Make it brief, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, my brother, I just want to say the young man in his people, thank you very much
Thank you, sir.
for explaining all these things in a way that even a common man can understand it.
Thank you, sir.
If I have say, please, sir, I beg, if you make time to AIT or channel to analyze all these things, because most of our time, our people, our sole government personnel, that is where they always focus, get reduced. I am begging you, because the way I analyze all these things, you see, all those that you said here, I think so many things. I want to agree with in one particular thing. You see, the problem that we have in this society that many graduates say that it's a scam, it's a scam or this or that. You see, our people, they are not helping. They are not helping. How can somebody who have a money, billions of naira, they put it in this year, and they invest it, build a company, a factory, where somebody, when you graduate, you find where you work and get something. Everybody wants to run to go to overseas. Everyone wants to enter Europe. My brother, you see, I don't know who do all these things. All ourselves, I don't know. I don't know who do all these things.
All right,
all
sir.
the things that have in this country, anyone, even I'm talking to you, my brother, I'm sorry to say this. Why I want my children to school, secondary and university, for them to get my good the culture. Because most of our times, I learned from the past mistake. One of my uncle.
Okay.
Secondary school, everything they feel they don't even want to come to Nigeria again. I don't want to be part of that kind of fellow.
Okay.
Where we are
Thank you.
my children
Thank
to
you,
go
sir.
to.
Thank
So
you.
what
Appreciate.
I say, please, sir. Let our big, let them build a factory company here.
Okay,
that our
okay,
children will not be
all right.
staying
Oh,
in that building. Thank you very
Factories,
much.
thank you very much. We have to go. Thank you very much, all of you who have called. We appreciate you. We would have
Yep,
loved to give you
yep,
more
yep.
chance, but that will not be. But finally, Mr. Ona, in 60 seconds, I know it's going to be difficult for you to do that, but in 60 seconds, if you had a chance to advise the federal government directly, you meet the president like this, what one key step would you recommend to ensure this curriculum reform succeeds and transforms education in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you, Doc. If I am to meet Mr. President and advise him, the first thing I'm going to tell him is that they should try and have an accurate data of the school enrollment in basic education, and then from there, they should be able to know where they want Nigeria to be in 10 years' time. If they don't know where they want Nigeria to be in 10 years' time, then bringing out this curriculum is a waste.
All right. Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr. Ona, for coming on
My
the program.
goodness.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, so but just very quickly, we just want to let you know that success depends on money for workshops and labs, training for millions of teachers, clear alignment with testing bodies, and steady coordination with states. If those policies or these pieces fall into place, this reform could really, really raise the learning outcomes and give many young Nigerians usable skills. Yes. And let's know, the basic thing is, when they work, and if this thing works, it will change from the beautiful city of Yenagoa down to the Mambila Plateau and all of Lafia, and every part of the country will be blessed. Nigeria has all it takes. Let's make it work. This is my ending submission today. My name is Paul Oblongbasa. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk Nigeria.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. And, of course, a special thanks to our guests this morning, Mr. Chinyike Vitus on Africa Coming Around. My concluding thought will be that introduction of a new curriculum at the basic, senior, secondary, and technical education levels is more than just a policy. It is an investment in Nigeria's future, no doubt about that. But a curriculum is only as strong as its implementation. For it to succeed, teachers must be trained, schools properly equipped, students guided with clarity and purpose, and education reforms should not only look good on paper, but also transform classrooms, skills, and lives. So if Nigeria is to rise to her full potential, our education system must be relevant, practical, and inclusive. The time to get it done right is now. Until next time, this is Let's Talk Nigeria. Let's keep the conversation alive. I am Moya Steving.